Last year, I made a video on the POV. Last year, I made a video on the POV Pro 4K camera. It was a hit. It's still one of the top results you'll find if you do a general internet search term for the POV Pro camera. And I didn't know about this until a commenter had left me a message on that video saying that the new POV Pro 2 was released. So naturally, I spent £150 and I bought one. 10 days later, I picked up the camera, and including bits where I'm moving house as well. As you can see, I'm in my new humble abode, and it's lovely. Thank you very much for asking. But I ended up getting the new POV Pro 2, so I wanted to make this as a sequel, as another review, as a comparison. Is this better as this, or are they both equally shit? Hey, this is Pomerac Child. So this is going to be a follow-up from the POV Pro 4K video. So I have decided to get the POV Pro 4K 2. I didn't know that this was even a thing. It wasn't until somebody left a comment to tell me that this was out, because even up until yesterday I was still getting adverts for the original POV Pro camera coming onto my social media feed. So I had no idea, or someone in their marketing department hasn't done as good a job as what they thought they had. So I bought this. It was £150, I believe. I got the full bundle with the memory card, with all of the accessories. There are cheaper options where you can just get the camera or the bundle without the memory card, because memory is expensive. And I thought I'd just go check this out. Now, admittedly, I have opened the box because I wanted to make sure that the camera was fully charged, because I'm about to do some testing on it a little bit later on today, or if you're watching this in probably a couple of minutes' time. But let's have a look at the inside of the box and see what we're working with. I don't have an aversion to the colour pink, but it's mostly my wife's office, so yeah, just ignore that. So in the last camera, you had just a simple camera and a couple of accessories, but on this, you can clearly see from the off, it's a lot more stacked. You've got your accessories as you would do, and from what I can recall, there are more accessories to begin with. I mean, we've even got what appears to be a SIM card removal tool, and a double-ended USB-C, USB 2. Don't know why that's there, but I think it's ease of charging, I'm guessing. We've got some connectors that could go on handlebars, so if you're into your cycling. But it baffles me, because the whole selling point of these particular cameras, so that you can just connect the magnetic backing, and, well, that was the seller. That was the seller for the camera in the first place. That's the main reason I bought the POV Pro 1. Water resistant casing there. Standard. Extra connector. So maybe, if this is all you get, then maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this has the same amount of accessories as it did in the POV Pro 1. But this is what I notice was different too. You've got another protective case here, so if you're going cycling, you just slot the camera in there, and the clip case, which is, funnily enough, the same one I used. Hang on a minute, that's not a clip case. This is like a swivelly thing, but I don't know how you would connect it unless the connector is on the side. So as it turns out, it is a clip, but it only goes that far. So I do not like this accessory at all. I don't think I'll be using that one as much. I mean, the one that you had on the original POV Pro, where you'd clip it in, but it clips over the top, and you can swivel it all angles. I prefer that one to this new one, so I don't know why they redesigned that accessory, because that is unacceptable, and it's got no place in my accessory collection. But this is the main seller. Now, as I say, I admittedly had to take this camera out to charge it, but amazingly, This isn't the whole camera. This is like a box, if you will. There's no screen on this. This is a charging dock, shall we say. So you just plug the cable in and you power it on, and it keeps a charge in a battery bank. And the charge goes to the camera too. And taking the camera out, it is a bit of a faff because it's connected by magnets. So taking it out of this bag, you can just clip the camera in there. It will switch on, and if it is low, it will charge it up for you. So the camera has come on. It won't do anything yet until I press the power button once. It is the same controls as the original camera. So you press that once, but instead of tapping it twice to connect to Wi-Fi, there is a Wi-Fi button now too. So it does make it a little bit easier if you want to connect via apps, or if you want to do live streaming, for example. So that's a little bit better. And this dock doubles up as a mount, say, so you can just twist it in here, and you can have this as a vertical, horizontal, whatever you like on an angle camera. The only drawback is you don't get that screen to tell you what it is. If they put this as a screen as an accessory, so when you connected the camera, whatever is flowing through the images of the lens goes into the screen, that would be a really cool feature. Admittedly, it costs more money. POV Pro 3, question mark? Who knows? Protective lens on the camera, I shall get rid of that. And here we have it. It is the POV Pro 2 camera. Immediately, I am a lot more warmly received to this camera compared to the POV Pro 1. I mean, the POV Pro 1 was cool, and it was a budget entry-level vlogging personal micro camera, if you will. But this, compared to the original, this is much, much better, and I haven't even used it yet. So, why don't we use it?
What you're seeing now is footage from the POV Pro 2 camera. While the white balance is superior and the picture quality is phenomenal, one thing that I noticed when I was reviewing the footage is that the sound is not good. You can pick up wind noise fantastically, but if you want to listen to conversation or wildlife or any other background noise, you'll notice that it's a lot quieter compared to the original camera, or indeed the GoPro Hero 12, which are the two other cameras that I took with me to compare filming. The picture quality, as you can see, is really good, and I do like this camera for that reason, but as an all-round camera, I'm not a fan of it, and it can basically be evidence that my foreshadowing abilities are terrifying. Both the POV Pro original and the POV Pro 2 cameras were adjusted on the app prior to filming, and they are showcasing the highest possible settings that they have, including a timestamp, so there's no illusion on what I'm filming and there's no bias to this, and I'm trying to film the same things with both cameras. Outdoor footage, as you can see, is pretty nice on the POV Pro 2. The original, the quality is just lacking and the white balance does need to catch up slightly, but of course both of them dwarf in comparison to the superior qualities of the GoPro Hero 12. But going back to the POV Pro 2 for a moment, yes, the picture quality is better than the original, but the microphone might as well not be there. Unless it's wind noise or stuff that doesn't really matter, then it doesn't do a good job with sound quality. Unless you're singing SL2 on a raggatip down the A3. So what I can tell so far is that the POV Pro 2 has a better resolution, frame rate, light balance, and it actually looks a lot more crisper. And as we debunked in the previous videos, the POV Pro original is not 4K as was advertised, and you can see the difference already. It was a very light morning, and the POV Pro original has a really hard time distinguishing colours, and the light balance is not that good. So if you need to distinguish colours of cars or buildings, you're going to have a better time with the POV Pro 2. But I can't stand the horrible aspect ratio that you get on the POV Pro 2. It's almost like it's always locked in the iPhone TikTok 9:16 ratio, and I thought that right up until the moment I used the camera's magnets to mount them onto each side of the car's headrests and to film some driving. Now, I have no idea what caused this camera to be filmed in my preferred 16:9 ratio, but the problem is I have no idea why, because it was filmed at exactly the same position and level as I had pretty much done in all of the other footage for this camera. But for some reason it's in a better ratio now. And if you're wondering why this camera is shaking, is because the magnetism is a lot worse compared to the POV Pro original. And this new camera is advertised with more stabilisation. Yes, the stabilisation does look a little bit better, but the magnetism is not as good. And I feel like if you're going to have a camera that's pretty much its whole selling point is based around being able to magnetically connect the camera to a necklace or a mount or whatever, you would at least get that right. Okay, now let's have a look at some pros that I've discovered for the POV Pro 2 camera. The first one, and the best one for me, is the fact that the overall quality of the video has improved by a long way. The frame rate, the resolution, how the camera responds, it just looks so much better. It's a massive improvement when you compare it to the original. The white balance works really well, so if you're going from indoor to outdoor, the light just works perfectly. You can see trees, you can see different colours, you can see the outdoors. It's phenomenal when you compare it to the original. When I was driving just a few moments ago, you could see out the windscreen on the POV Pro 2, whereas on the original, you only just saw light. There's multiple buttons on the second camera too, so you don't have to do this multiple tapping nonsense and hold it, for example. If you want to connect to Wi-Fi, you can just press the Wi-Fi button. The docking station makes it a more convenient solution to charge, and if you need to charge it quickly, and or if you want to mount it to a tripod, for instance, you can do that too. And the fact that that Wi-Fi button exists, it's better when you want to stream and film something on the app. And now here are some cons of the POV Pro 2 camera, and boy have I found a few. The aspect ratio isn't consistent and I don't like it. Yes, that's a subjective comment, but I do not like this 9:16 ratio at all. I prefer landscape, it's easier for me to watch videos, and it's better for editing. I'm not a fan of it at all. The old accessories aren't compatible with the new camera, so if you've bought the original POV Pro, say, and you think, oh, I'm not going to buy the accessory bundle with the new camera because I've still got my old ones, yeah, that's not going to work because the old accessories don't fit the new camera. And that's particularly poor, I feel, because the GoPro Hero doesn't do that. If you've got a GoPro Hero 12, you don't have to buy an accessory kit for every camera that comes out afterwards. Say, if you get a newer camera, you don't have to swap out all of your equipment. The microphone is weak unless it's wind noise or stuff that isn't relevant, or unless you actually pump the noise into the tiny microphone that it has, it's not really going to pick it up. Another con for me is the docking station. For me, and for quite a few people, this could be a double-edged sword, but hear me out. If you want to charge the original POV Pro camera, you'd get a USB-C cable, you'd plug it into the side of the camera, and that was it. Your camera would be charging. But if you want to charge this camera, you can't just plug a USB-C into the side of the camera. What you have to do is you have to get the camera, pop it in the docking station, and charge the docking station. So if you didn't bring the docking station with you and you need to charge the camera, tough, you can't. The app still sucks. Admittedly, it's a new app, it's something different, but you had to get a new app for it, and I don't know what was wrong with the original. But even then, so the mechanics of the app is still pretty bad. It's still not that good, and it still feels a little bit janky. Admittedly, it is a bit better if you're doing streaming on that app, or if you want to get live images from the app, but it's still not very good. And it's less magnetic when you compare it to the original too. I've attached it to some metal surfaces, and I found that the POV Pro 2 just shakes a lot more and it loses its magnetism first. I don't know if that's the case because they had to make room for the docking station magnet charger, but whatever. Those are my cons for it, and admittedly, a lot of people will probably say that, oh, I'm whinging too much because it is a cheap camera, and indeed it is. It's good if you're on a budget, but this is a review, this is the whole point, and this is how I found the camera.
So what have I learned with these two cameras? Well, they're both budget friendly and they're both good entry points if you want to get into vlogging, and they're both good cameras if you want to use them for just daily activities. But in terms of picture quality, it's the POV Pro 2. In terms of how you want your videos to look, they have reasons to be good and bad for each other. For the aspect ratio, I much prefer the original because this one is inconsistent. For everyday use, I'd go for the original. It's the docking station for me. It's the fact that I have to take that with me if I want to charge this. If I'm streaming or if I'm using stuff that I want to access on my phone quickly, definitely the POV Pro 2. For sound quality, the original. Light balance, number 2. So there are reasons that both are good and bad, and before a load of people say, oh, I'm just moaning about, cheap, budgety cameras, these are being sold. People need to know about this. And I think I would like to use this, but the microphone and the aspect ratio lets me down, and it's that clip mount that I would attach onto my top, and I would use that a lot, and the fact that it's not as good makes me not want to use it. So this is an improvement on the original, but there is so much detail that has been missed, and I'm not a fan of it. So they're both good in their own ways. This would be a good improvement, but there are some things about it that just aren't as good. So, I mean, it's improved, but not by much, but I'll leave that decision up to you. Now, before I finish this review, I did get a message from someone on Instagram who was claiming to be a representative of the POV Pro camera, and my wife suggested that I take this person up on the offer so I can get this camera for free and make a review about them. But I just want to make something absolutely crucial. I didn't want to do that because I felt like I had to be impartial. I wanted to pay the money out of my own pocket, which I did, and I wanted to give you an honest review. And I hope that you have got my honest opinion. I hope that you make an informed choice when you buy this camera, or not buy this camera. I don't care if you buy it or not. I'm not affiliated. I don't get a commission, but hopefully that informs you, and I have become a good guide for assistance on this. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. I try my best to upload as often as I can. And as always, thank you so much for watching.